So I'd like to make some announcements. And then after that, we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions because I didn't know if you knew this, but only 8% of people who make New Year's resolutions make it the first month with their resolution. So how would you like some tips as to actually have your resolutions come true in the year? So you want to stay tuned for that. So once again, thank you for everyone who's donated to this service. We really do appreciate it. It's not necessary, but it helps us bring this on week after week. So thank you for that. We've got some new things coming up in January. We just announced our January calendar. On Mondays, we're going to have a 2-hour course with Scott Milligan on trance in the altered states. Wednesday, a psychic class with Phil and Carrie. And using your psychic muscle is the first thing you have to learn before you learn mediumship, because you get to use that psychic muscle on someone who's no longer here. So on Wednesdays, we'll have psychic classes with Phil and Carrie. On Thursdays, we'll have mediumship classes with Phil and Carrie. Of course, we've got some upcoming demonstrations with Scott and Phil and Carrie as well. You can sign up for next week here to be on our Sunday gathering. Also some specialty courses. If you're someone who is a medium and you want to be the very best you can be, certainly you can join us on Thursdays, but Phil and Carrie have a very special 4-part course that they'll be doing in January and February called New Year, New Start, which starts January 16th. You don't have to be a medium to attend our next two things. They are 2 5-hour classes. The first one's called Sitting in the Power, and that is with Carrie and Phil. You just have to be an interested party. It is something that teaches you how to quiet down and get into that sacred space, being with your own soul. They do different exercises that you sit with your own soul, you sit being present, you sit with the spirit world. It's really amazing, a really amazing course. The other thing we're doing, and that's January 23rd, for the very first time, we are working with our friend Sue Wood, who is an Arthur Findlay College tutor, and she's also a spirit artist and a medium. She's doing a course called Aura and the Soul. So you'll be working with fellow participants on Zoom, actually learning how to tap into that psychic muscle and the different layers of the aura. And so you get to bring crayons or colored pencils and paper. And if you're interested in this, it sounds really cool to me. So that's something new, and we're really excited about that. So you can find out about everything at WeDon'tDieRadio.com and click on calendar, Sunday service, whatever you're interested in. If you are on that radio show button, I just launched a new episode of one of my radio shows called Shades of the Afterlife, which is on iHeartRadio. And I interviewed Dr. Scott Kolbaba, because a lot of people think medicine and doctors don't believe in the afterlife. How not true it is. He compiled a book speaking with 27 physicians about what they know about the afterlife. So it's pretty amazing. So here we go. Resolutions. Are you sitting down? I think you are. Yes, not very many New Year's resolutions come true. We come up with something great we're going to do, whatever it may be. You've done them a million times before, and then it could be a week or a month or even just a few days where it disappears and you give up on it. So here are some tips and tricks to make your New Year's resolutions come true. First thing you want to do is you want to identify just a couple of things that you want to do for your New Year's resolutions. One is fine, but it's not good to just be general, like I want to write a book or I want to be healthy. So what you want to do is you want to write mini goals. So say you want to write a book, a mini goal would be write 1 chapter this month. So say you want to be healthy, a mini goal would be I'm not going to eat sugar this week. Okay, so you got to break it down into mini goals. The next step is to really think of what your key motivators are. The key motivators being, say you want to write a book. A motivator might be, I want to leave a legacy for my grandchildren, and to really visualize your grandchildren knowing your story. Or if you've been through something and you know your story is going to help other people, really think, what was what would it have been like if you got this information? So what is really the motivator? If it's being healthier and not eating sugar, think of the energy you feel. Think about how much longer potentially you may be on the planet. Whatever it is for you, you need to dig up the emotions that would motivate you to get started with this. And then the third thing, which people sometimes seem to miss, is although we declare these resolutions and our goals, important to write these things down, but you actually have to write down some action steps. What are the actions you're going to take? So, for instance, for writing, you get out your calendar and you say, okay, I'm going to write 20 minutes on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and you stick to it. You plan your work and you work your plan. So those are just some tips for that part. Now, if we want to sprinkle on a little fairy dust and have a little magic and have some really cool, unexpected things happen, we can add in a little gratitude. If you've been on before, you know how I feel about the power of gratitude, not just thanking whoever it is you believe in or the universe, God, for the things you do have, but really, I mean, you have to feel them, but also feel and thank for things that haven't happened yet. So living that week without eating a piece of chocolate or having any sugar, to feel that feeling, thank you, universe, thank you, God, I made it through the week. It's now 1 week ahead and I made it through without sugar, and feel that feeling. I don't know how it works, but it is almost like fairy dust. When we start to feel things before they even happen, they tend to happen. There's a book called The Magic, and the lady that wrote The Secret wrote this book called The Magic. It's not magic at all. It's a 28-day gratitude practice, and you do just that. So if you're looking for something to help you with your resolution, and you want to download a book on Kindle and follow along, but there's exercises you do. You read one small chapter every day and you give gratitude. You certainly don't need to buy the book to do this, but it's something that puts in a little bit of structure. The last thing I wanted to say about this is very often we think if we get the job, we'll have money, and when we have money, we will be happy or we will be successful. So this is this do something, have something, and then we get to be happy. Well, life, if you haven't noticed, is just a series of right now. How many things have we said we'll do in the future? But it doesn't seem like the future ever gets here, does it? It just seems like more now, more present moment. So we get fooled thinking that the future is a reality, which I guess technically it is, but it only seems like increments of right now. So we can actually swap around this do, have, be, and then do, and then have. So for instance, we can take on right now that I'm an author, or I'm healthy, or what is an action that someone who is successful would do? How would they feel? So if you feel like you're a success, if you feel like you're a great parent, if you feel like you're a happy person, you can be that right now. And then what happens is you start doing the actions that a happy or a successful or a healthy person would do. And then ultimately, as the gift is you get to have those things. So no matter how you're feeling right now, you can, and you've done it before, rise to the occasion and be that person. When we get on these Sunday gatherings, one would like to think that we are all happy and inspired, but I don't know if it's the same for Carrie, Darren, Phil, and I. But sometimes we get on here and it's like we're having a tough day, but we rise to the occasion, we be positive, we be inspired, we be loving. And then the next thing you know, an hour and a half goes by and we feel it. We are that. It's pretty interesting. So those are just some tips to get us in the 92% that are successful. if I did the math correct. You know what I'm saying. Don't be hard on yourself if New Year's resolutions haven't worked in the past, but you say now they're going to work. Well, now you've got some extra tools.